On Monday, Elon Musk stated that the U.S. is going into a recession and that this is only the beginning in many directions. As Elon says, if this trend continues, the situation is looking very dangerous. Also, Elon repeated his plans for layoffs and explained the real reason the recession is happening. At the Bloomberg event, Musk said that Tesla will be cutting its paid employees by around 10% over the course of the following 3 months or so. Their hourly staff will likely increase. On the other hand, their growth on the salary side was extremely quick, and in some ways, it was even too quick. Tesla employs just under 100,000 people, but according to Musk, the layoffs would result in a reduction of about 3.5% because salaried employees make up about 1/3 of the workforce, while the company is increasing the number of hourly employees who make up about 2/3 of the workforce. He noted during the conference that recessions are not always terrible. Musk has experienced a couple of them and has concluded that if a boom persists for too long, there is a tendency for capital to be misallocated. Essentially, it starts to pour money on the foolish. He continued by stating that when this scenario gets out of hand, the economy has a misallocation of human capital, and people are doing things that are foolish and not valuable to their fellow human beings. Musk made light of the fact that ultimately it will be necessary to clean up the pipes with an economic enema. He said that firms who aren't doing a good job go bankrupt, and the ones who are making valuable stuff are affluent. And there's definitely a lesson here that if one is providing a valuable product and has a business that makes sense, make sure you're not running things too close to the edge from a capital viewpoint, the speaker added. To get them through the crazy times, they have some capital reserves. President Joe Biden and his administration looked to be the target of Musk's apparent criticism for the recession. The government created a vast quantity of additional currency than it actually possessed, he claimed, making this the clear cause of inflation. Inflation cannot be prevented by the government simply writing checks for extra money. Money flow maintained its steady speed, according to Musk. It's not like this is incredibly complex, he said. Musk's forecast is consistent with statements made by other business leaders, such as Jamie Dimon, the chief executive of J.P. Morgan, who said this month that a storm is right out there and it's heading our way. But U.S. President Joe Biden disagrees with Musk and repeated on Monday that he thought a U.S. recession was not imminent. In an interview with NBC News on Sunday, former U.S. Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers said that he anticipated a downturn. Musk has attempted to forecast a recession before. The CEO of Tesla stated in 2021 that he anticipated the subsequent recession to occur in the next 2 years. Musk is not an economist, but he is also not the first well-known figure to suggest a recession may be on the horizon. Along with Musk, a number of other influential corporate figures in the U.S. have expressed worries about an impending recession in the country. The prospects of a recession are now 50-50, up from an earlier projection of 30%, according to Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman, who was speaking 2 days before the Fed raised interest rates. Without specifically referencing a recession, J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon earlier this month spoke of an impending economic storm brought on by the conflict in the Ukraine and soaring inflation. Dimon stated that his bank is gearing up for terrible outcomes. Goldman Sachs chairman Lloyd Blankfein told CBS on Sunday that he thought there was a very, very high likelihood of a recession. The U.S. will have a recession in 2023, according to forecasts made in April by experts at Deutsche Bank, who cited inflation and rising interest rates. Similar to this, Wells Fargo CEO Charles Scharf stated in May that it will be impossible to avoid some form of recession, although he did not anticipate it to be a severe one. After the Federal Reserve boosted interest rates early in May, U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell addressed worries that the economy could be headed for a slump. He told reporters that nothing indicated the economy was near to or vulnerable to a recession. Powell, however, did seem to change his mind on Tuesday. He stated that the question of whether they can execute a smooth landing or not may actually rely on things that they don't control, implying that the invasion on Ukraine by Russia and supply chain snags might provide further problems. According to a study released on Friday, 76.1% of chief executives think a recession would occur in their company's core industry by the end of 2023. This indicates that top business leaders are buying into coming recession worries. A recession will most likely occur by the end of 2022, according to 43.3% of CEOs who responded to the Conference Board Business Research Group study of 750 CEOs and senior C-suite executives. Of those CEOs, 15% say one has already occurred. By the end of 2023, 17.8% more people expect a recession. Just 19.1% of CEOs stated that they do not anticipate a recession over the next 2 to 3 years. The study was conducted from May 10th to the 24th, well before Federal Reserve on Wednesday increased interest rates by 75 basis points, escalating many people's worries about a recession. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down more than 18% year-to-date. Inflation is at a 4-decade high, and the U.S. GDP shrank 1.5% in the first quarter of 2022. These worrying indicators have increased general anxiety about a recession. The rate rise this week by the Fed was the highest since 1994, and according to Michael Wilson, chief U.S. equity strategist at Morgan Stanley, it raises the probability of a recession. In an interview with the Associated Press on Thursday, President Joe Biden asserted that a recession is not inevitable. Despite the growing concerns, a number of experts concur with Biden's views, including Mark Hackett, the head of Nationwide's investment research, who said last week that concerns are overblown, and Jeffrey Roach, the chief economist of LPL Financial, who said that he thinks the economy is simply slowing rather than contracting. It is likely that these statements are meant to calm the general populace's fears. A panicked population would only exacerbate the condition. That's it for now.